Hello, my name's Katie Raven and this is session 4 in a mindful approach to being with life as it is. So just as a reminder, this is a set of sessions that are being recorded for North and West Yorkshire ASBAH. They are being provided as a resource for you to follow at your own convenience and can be found on the homepage of your website. Now, session 4 is a session that is based around our patterns of reactivity to stress and unpleasant events. So in this recording, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that and what that means in this bigger kind of landscape of being with life as it is. And then after that, I'll lead us into a small practice, which we call a sitting practice, which is an opportunity for us to, again, practice this idea of being aware more often, but now incorporating these other ideas of patterns of reactivity. So stressful things are part and parcel of life, and it's how we really handle those moments of stress and unpleasant events that make the difference between being completely overwhelmed by them and controlled by them, and actually just being able to be with them in a much more supportive kind of way. So in previous sessions, we have looked at practices to increase our awareness in the present moment. So our present moment experiences in the body, in particular, when we refer to the body scan. So beyond that now, we can get a little bit deeper in the respect that we can begin to notice how it is when these experiences are pleasant or unpleasant. So previously we were just investigating and exploring what was here in the body, what were the felt sensations like. But what was going on underneath that was a very, very quick reaction to that feeling or that sensation being pleasant or unpleasant. And so in this week's practice, which I'll go into later, I'd like to bring that into the practice. So to begin to start exploring or noticing and being aware of what you find pleasant and what you find unpleasant in the practice. So let's bring that into our practice for this session. So as I said before, we call this a sitting practice. That doesn't mean you have to be sat to do this practice. Today I'm going to stand because I've got some backache, so it is better for me to take care of myself in this practice by standing up, and equally I invite you to do the same. So take care of your body and put it in a position that is going to be comfortable enough for you for the next 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to just set myself up here. And the same as with the previous practices, there's this idea of softening the eyes, so you can either close them if that feels comfortable, or you can just have them at a really low gaze. So with this practice, we're just going to intend to be really gentle and kind with ourselves. Coming back to that idea of paying a kindly attention. So a few moments to allow a bit of time to settle. And actually you might not feel settled, but it's just about making that space, making that change between what you've been doing before and starting to practice. So taking a nice deep breath in and a long breath to let go. Maybe letting the shoulders drop as the breath finishes. And again, nice in-breath, long out-breath. So bringing your awareness into the body, allowing it to find where it can feel your breath moving the clearest. Maybe that's in the nostrils or the throat, maybe it's in the chest or the belly. So just anchoring your focus, that kindly attention in that one place. And seeing if it's possible to really be there for the next few in-breaths and out-breaths. So following the breath as it draws into the body, curls over, becomes an out-breath. And then from this focused, anchored place, just allowing your attention to move out into the body. So moving out into the feet, the toes, the ankles, the calf muscles, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the pelvis, the lower part of the spine. Attention moving up the back, through the lower, middle and upper parts of the spine, including the shoulders and the shoulder blades, over the tops of the shoulders, round the front to the belly. And a really good opportunity there, if you noticed it, the sounds that are around me as I'm recording now. All part of the experience, what's here. So acknowledging them. So as we're here in the body, just starting to notice parts of the body that are feeling pleasant. So what's feeling quite comfortable or soft, gentle for you now in the body. Letting your attention settle around those places. Maybe the hands feel nice and warm. Or the chest feels fairly settled and soft, soft belly. So just wherever for you right now feels pleasant in the body. And just letting your attention be there. So also letting your attention move to maybe parts of the body that are beginning to feel a bit tense or carry some unpleasant sensations. I can acknowledge right now that my back has some discomfort, my hip. If it feels okay, just being with those sensations for a short amount of time, noticing any tendencies to react. Perhaps there's a tendency to avoid going to the places that are uncomfortable or unpleasant in the body. So never taking that beyond an edge that is too uncomfortable, just enough to notice that little bit of reactivity to how it is. So letting go of sensations in the body and the pleasant and the unpleasant. And just having a little bit of a moment to also notice the sounds that are around you. I can hear sounds of my children playing and the cars outside. And perhaps underneath that there is a little reaction to whether that is pleasant or unpleasant for you. Maybe the silence is pleasant if there is any silence, or maybe that's unpleasant. So just becoming a bit aware of these reactions, these very small reactions. So letting go of paying attention to the sounds and the pleasant and unpleasant within that. And now just noticing how you feel right now. So what feelings are here for you right now? Perhaps noticing thoughts that are feeding those feelings, or feelings that are feeding those thoughts. Maybe it's easy to identify this feeling, or maybe it's a mixture of a few things. So just again that idea of, well, is that pleasant or is that unpleasant? And noticing what your natural instinctive response to that is. To avoid it, to pretend it's not there. If it's pleasant, to really indulge in it and try and hold on to it. An in-breath and an out-breath, and I notice a bit of a smile on my face as I can hear my children playing video games downstairs, and automatically that becomes a thought about you judging this experience of me recording whilst having the noise of my family in the other rooms. So this is interesting, an interesting place. So an in-breath and an out-breath, and just letting go of this practice and letting go of that attention in those places. And maybe you want to treat your body to a little bit of a stretch or a wiggle or a crack or a shake. And so that is a very short touch on a sitting practice. So if you like, you can repeat that a few more times, or you can start to bring in that idea of noticing the reactivity of the pleasant and the unpleasant kind of events or experiences in some of the other practices that you might have found useful. So if you have continued to do some mindful movement, or you already have a practice, a bit of yoga or stretching, that you could begin to bring that into there. So noticing these really small moments of reactivity to whether something is pleasant for you or whether something is uncomfortable or unpleasant, and what is your natural response. So really beginning to explore and discover what these habitual instinctive responses are when you meet these pleasant and unpleasant times. Okay, so I'm going to leave this session here. As always, you're really welcome to contact me on the ASBAH website or my email address that you can find on the North and West Yorkshire ASBAH website as well. So wishing you well, and I will catch you for the next session.